Hey guys, this is Pat, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in UFC 152 in exactly 152 seconds. Maybe not, but I'll give it a shot. I'll try to keep it brief. Anyways, the first matchup I'd like to talk about, I'm actually going to talk about two undercard fights today. I usually don't talk about the undercard, but now they're on FX, so we get to see all the fights. So I'm going to talk about two of them that will be involved in my three-fighter parlay today. First off is Evan Dunham versus T.J. Grant. Evan Dunham was an up-and-comer, but he lost a couple tough bouts. He lost to the muscle shark Sean Shirk, and it was a complete ripoff. It's probably the worst decision I've ever seen in my life. And then he got knocked out by Melvin Guillard, who's kind of a tough fighter. So, he's won two since then, but he really needs to keep going. So he's fighting T.J. Grant, who was in the same spot as him, who was an up-and-comer and has a couple decent wins, but they both really need this fight to move up in the ranks in a possible top 10 ranking. And T.J. Grant's an okay fighter. He's kind of a striker, kind of a little tough guy. Evan Dunham's kind of a tall, lanky, all-around fighter, and I'm going to look for Dunham to win either via unanimous decision or he's going to choke him out. So I like Evan Dunham in this fight. The second undercard fight I'm going to talk about is Igor Pokairich versus Vinny Magalhães, who is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and I'm not too high on these jiu-jitsu guys. I mean, I like it if they can also strike, if they have an all-around game, but Magalhães has no all-around game. He only has jiu-jitsu, and those are like the guys I really don't like. And he went to some other fighting federation like the XFC or something like that and got on a roll, so now he's back in UFC. But I'm really going Igor Pokairich is really he's really an unknown fighter, and he has very heavy hands. He's kind of on a little roll, He's 18-5, and he's actually a solid Croatian fighter. And I'm gonna look for Pokairich to pound out Magalhães in the first or second round. He's going. Magalhães is definitely going down. Third fight I'm going to talk about is the fight I most want to see tonight is Brian Stann versus Michael Bisping, who is basically a USA versus England fight, and Brian Stann's odds jumped up to plus 190, making him a big dog, and so I am going to include him on my parlay. I do feel that Bisping is going to win via decision because he's a way more technical striker, has a little better ground game, even though we'll see if he uses it. I don't know if he's going to, because if Stann stuffs his ground game, he's going to be forced to stand, and Brian Stann has extremely heavy hands and probably the strongest guy fighting at the middleweight weight class. So it could end quick with Brian Stann. Brian Stann's always one punch away, and I'm really pulling for Stann because I haven't included my parlay. But I think in the end, Bisping's going to win by a decision because he's more technical and boring. He ain't going to knock out Stann, that's for sure. So my parlay, I got Evan Dunham, Igor Pokairich, and Brian Stann. It's $100 to win $666. Yeah, whatever, That's just a number that came out. So I like my odds in this. I'm taking a chance with Stann. The other two I'm very sure about. And then the flyweights, Joseph Benavidez versus Demetrius Johnson. These guys, I'm not even going to talk about. They're flyweights. Come on, 125-pound, like little boys fighting each other, moving so fast you can't even see what's going on. It's going to go the distance, but Benavidez will probably get the decision. Who the fuck cares anyways? It's a stupid weight class. 125 pounds, really? It's like two girls fighting. Yeah, it's disgusting. Anyways, okay, then the main event is Johnny Bones Jones versus Vitor Belfort. And Vitor Belfort, in my opinion, is the most underrated fighter in the UFC right now. He really gets no props at all, and he's won 7 out of his last 8. His only loss was to Anderson Silva, and 7 out of his last 8, all 7 of those fights have been by either knockout or submission. 6 knockouts and 1 submission. So Vitor's a very vicious guy, and his only chance at all in this fight, though, is if he can somehow get inside that 84-inch reach of Bones Jones. It's the longest reach in UFC history, but Vitor is extremely quick and hits extremely hard, so he has a chance to knock out Bones Jones. But I really think Bones is going to use his length. I hate saying that word length, but his reach, and he's gonna get inside. He's going to hold off Belfort and be able to get him in the clinch and throw some knees, and eventually he's going to choke out Belfort, which I think is going to be as early as the first round because Belfort's not going to stand back. Vitor Belfort always really goes for it, and that's why he's one of my favorite fighters because he is there to fight. He's not there to screw around and tickle and hug and kiss or whatever a lot of these guys like to do and dance around like an idiot. Belfort's there to strike and kick some ass, so I'm hoping he can get inside, but don't count on it. So I'd say Bones Jones in the first round, choke out. rear naked choke. So that's what I say. Enjoy the fights.